is in the description up top or in my profile. You can hit the button and join me. I'm gonna pop out the chat so I can just see the chat over here. There we go. And let's do this. Yeah, I'm live on YouTube now. I just saw the banner go up and everything. Let's pull that down. Let's do that. Let's move this over. I have to do a little arranging with it because of the way I got it set up. Woohoo! There's that. There you go. I see you. I see you joining on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube's a lot clearer, and you guys can see everything a lot better. Type when you get in the room. Type when you get in the room. All right, so these latest generations are so lost. Social media is their only interest, and that's why, Letitia, we have to honestly we got to manage that a lot better. Like we literally have to take social media out of the house. You can't sit down at dinner with social media. You can't, you know, you really got to stay. You got to be a hovercraft. Take that phone away from them and see how they respond. Usually their activity, their behavior is better. Letitia said, yes, my preferred. Thanks. Diana said, here, way better. Yeah, you guys, if you want to join on YouTube, you guys, Sanquilla's there. Okay, Teray, I see y'all. Yeah, I don't know what it is about this on here. But yeah, they say it's a whole lot clearer on YouTube if you guys want to join over there. But this conversation is kind of, you know what I'm saying? It should be the simplest conversation to have because what makes sense, and what doesn't make sense just doesn't make sense. Right is right, wrong is wrong, and for people to be bending it like it's the Matrix is killing me. You don't have to think hard about if a man is a man. He was born a boy. Boys grow into be men. Girls are born girls, and girls grow up to be young ladies and women. I don't let my kids touch my phone. They know better. I see kids that cry for phones. It's crazy. You're absolutely right. And it's because the phone is now a coping mechanism. Like the phone is now the resource that parents give their kids to help them behave. The phone is the new babysitter. Y'all see it as plain as day. People at the moment that their kids get to acting up, they put these digital pixels in front of them, not understanding that they are a accelerant. Like these phones, do y'all know that if y'all kept y'all phone on, that you would stay awake? Very seldom will you go to sleep with your phone in your face because it is an accelerant. It is always making you think. It is always driving you. It's always driving you. That's why they tell you before you go to sleep, what should you do? You should be without your eye device at least 2 hours before that. I have to ask this question. Why does it always sound like balls falling on my ear? Oh, that's whenever you guys leave a comment, Letitia. That's funny. uh yeah, that's when you leave a comment, it does that. That's too funny. Yeah, it makes that little noise. I can turn it off. It just helps me remember that to look at the comment section if I'm not looking at it. That's funny. That's too funny. It goes bling bling. If you leave a comment, you'll hear it. Leave a comment again and watch it go off. We're losing the kids. We're losing the generation to our iDevices. We're losing our generation to their own ideals, and they're raising themselves. These kids are thinking about life and things from a whole nother perspective, and the way they communicate. Let me tell y'all, whether y'all know it or not, the kids don't even use TikTok as their resource. They don't even use Instagram as their resource. Do y'all know what platform that they use? I'm gonna give y'all a minute. Y'all tell me, what platform do y'all think they use? What platform do y'all think these kids are using? Come on, y'all. What platform do y'all think these kids are using? Nope, it's not YouTube. It's not Instagram. Come on, y'all. It's almost over with. There you go. Teray got it. Nope, Teray got it. If y'all want to know what the real business is, grab your kid's phone and go look at their Snapchat. Go look at their Snapchat. The reason why they use Snapchat is because Snapchat has a location feature. meaning it tells those kids about other kids that are in proximity to them. Yeah, it's Snapchat. If y'all look on it, it has a who's in my area feature. You can go to Snapchat and then it will tell you who's in your close proximity. So these kids are not only discovering their friends, but they're discovering people who are also in their area. So when they're out and about, say at the high school football game or the middle school football game, they turn on their Snapchat and they see who's in the area. Yeah. So there's that. And there's like this built-in secrecy part of it where you can either hide the messages or the messages dissolve after they've looked at them. So you have to be very mindful. It's a very predatorial type of platform and app that you have to be mindful of because these are the places where those predators hang out at because it's hard to track them. Yeah, it's hard to track them. Kids are on Snapchat. They're not on Instagram like that. They're not on and the other one, there's a couple of them that they're on now that I think about it. Snapchat is one. Some of them are joining Discords. Discords is another one. And then there's another, then there are these games. Now, here's how they market the games to the kids, whether y'all know this or not. They market the games to the kids and they put chat features in the games. The games come with the ability for them to chat with other people who are playing the game. These are these ways that these predators are getting involved in your kids' lives. These are the way these predators are getting involved and having these conversations with these kids. When I haven't heard from my grandson in Arkansas, so I call my granddaughter in Connecticut and she tells me if he's been on. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you really have to, honestly, the best recipe for any of this stuff is just take the iDevices. Just take them. Take them. Most of them are not old enough or qualified to be using them. They can't even manage them. Like they literally cannot manage that kind of responsibility. I don't even know why. There's no way a kid under 15 or 16 should have a cell phone or a device. If that kid is under 15 or 16, they should either be with you or with another responsible adult at all times. Period. I don't care what neighborhood you live in, none of that kind of stuff. They should always be with an adult until they're, and even later than that, depending on how someone mature, but up until 15 or 16, these kids should be monitored by somebody who's a responsible character, period. But we got some of these 13 and 14-year-olds staying at home, and I understand some people's situations is like, yo, I got to work and got to do whatever, but yet this is where the village comes into play, and if they're old enough to be at home, they're old enough to be over somebody else's house behaving or helping out. There's not one adult in this live right now that would say that a responsible 13, 14-year-old who knows how to cook, clean, or clean up, or needs to learn those kind of traits wouldn't be welcomed at somebody's house who needs their house cleaned and needs those kind of lessons. There's a movie, there's a movie, I got to think of the name of it. It has Sean Connery and Antoine, the kid who played Antoine Fisher, Derek Luke. And what it is Derek Luke and he lives in this apartment complex along with Sean Connery. Let me see. I would always just go and grab my grand's phone and go through it. Yep. But there's a movie where he lived in the same building, and there you see these movies where the adult kind of comes into the life of a impressionable kid, and they groom them. They teach them some values. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all need to drop y'all kids off at somebody's house where they can do some work. You know what I'm saying? Where they can learn some other chores or be, it takes a village, and they're not going to learn everything from you. They're not going to respect everything from you. So that's why you got to put them in the hands of other people who are responsible and capable of pushing them through this thing called life. I can tell you right now, I did not learn everything that I learned from my parents. There were other parents on the street that put me up on game. There was Reverend Wade, who was a huge impact in my life, who took on all the boys in the neighborhood. He was a ex-pro football player, and he made sure all of us, did the right things and learned the right lessons, and gave us jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like painting the church and doing stuff like that, things that we could be proud of. I went back to that live and got muted. Yeah, Randy, you know, that's what's gonna happen over there. Life 360 is a great feature for teens. Yep. Also, we monitor through Google app everything she enters. It doesn't erase, and they never know. Yeah, that's awesome, Letitia. Every parent should have that. Low jack your kid's life until the low jack is no longer necessary. But you got to low jack every aspect of it because life right now is very volatile. Like when I say that, I just mean it's so easy for these kids to get into something. And if you take your hands off the wheel, somebody else gonna do the driving. It's either gonna be them or somebody you don't know. That's why you got to put that drivers. You got to say, oh no, you don't get to drive here. Mama Earl, you go ahead and drive because she don't know what she doing. Hey, grandmama, I'm gonna need you. Big mama, I'm gonna need you. Hey, Nana, I'm gonna need you to. That's what you do. And you put them in the hands of somebody who gonna teach them something. And if these kids, man, these kids should be. If they're not studying, if they're not learning, they need to be learning how to cook. They need to be learning how to clean. They need to be learning life skills, how to wipe their butt. They need to learn how to fold their clothes. They need to learn how to make their beds. They need to learn all those different things. And if they don't know those things by the time they're 16, who they going to be some good to? At 16, they're going to be out of the house doing their thing, threatening leaving, threatening, all these different things. And you will have no control over the situation. So while you have control, take control. And let them know you love them in a way that's greater than the love that they're seeing other kids who are running around crazy having. Because that's essentially it. Your kids need to know and feel that you love them greater than the world loves them. You know the world in the streets ain't got no love. Yeah, man. You got to stay on them. You got to stay on them. There's no, there isn't, I wish I could or I should. No, you got to stay on them. You either raise your kids or the streets will. Boom, shakalaka. Either you raise them or they going to raise them. And if they get their hands on them, even for a brief second, good luck. Good luck getting them back because they're going to develop their own opinions independent of yours. What up, Savannah? They're going to gain their own ideals and everything. Savannah, they said the vision is they said this picture is kind of crazy. Anybody who wants to join over on YouTube, hit my face up top where you would follow me at, and then the YouTube link drops down when you hit the Instagram link. Y'all can go over to YouTube, and then YouTube, of course, it's a better camera I'm using for YouTube anyway. These kids will fight you for them phones, won't they? Won't they, Lola? And that's why this is how you do it, Lola. If you want to take your kids' phones, you wait till they do something as punishment. You take the phone, and then you take the phone and you hide it, and you hide it where you can't even remember where it's at, and go from there. But you start doing that every time they act up. You're gonna have to be consistent. My aunt just whooped mine because his ass. I missed that last and it went away. That's funny. But yeah, I believe in we don't spare the rod. That's not how you should do it. My mama didn't. My mama lit me up. My mama lit me up till I was about 17 years old. Yep. I'm scared for my children to get older. My oldest is 4. Yeah. But he's at a great age, Diana, for you to really cultivate his future. You're in a perfect position and place to get him set and ready to go. Introduce him to books. Teach him to let his imagination run wild and let him be interested in books. Keep him outside. What up, Jersey? Keep him involved in activities, soccer or playing at the park or anything like that. But don't have him cooped up in the house. These kids got so much energy that you're going to have to nurture it by getting them involved in activities and in sports and different things like that. But you stay involved. You know what I'm saying? Threaten you that they will call the police. Yeah. But that's the other part, Lola. No kid should be in a position where they feel like they could do life without you. My aunt with my cousin, but he called the cops. Got there, she told them, if you want to take him and raise him, you can take him to the police. Left, and they left him, and she spanked him again. That's exactly right. Because that's where they're gonna end up if you don't. If you're not the head disciplinarian in a child's life, if you're not the person that's going to keep them on the straight and narrow, there's a place called prison that teaches them a whole nother lifestyle of straight and narrow. There are places designed to do that. And that's why it's important that, you know what I'm saying, we keep our hands on the wheel. We're just telling my mother she needs to start reading to this new set of children. Absolutely. Reading, man. Reading is. I think y'all heard me say this. Reading is for the mental. I know they say reading is fundamental, but it's for the mental. For people who say they got kids that have ADHD and all those things, sit down and start reading. And you're gonna have to, for those kids who are hyperactive, you're gonna have to set them down. You got to read something. You got to find something that interests them and reel them all the way in. My daughter got a chore list, yep, for the next week until she get her iPad back for disrespecting me. Absolutely, Buds. Absolutely. And that chore list, listen, keep that chore list going regardless, right? Because kids need a sense of responsibility. These kids don't have any responsibility. They feel like they listen, we did exactly what we said we do. And y'all know what that is, right? Oh man, when I become successful, when I get money, I'm gonna do everything for my kids that y'all didn't do for me. And not realizing it that what your parents did and didn't do for you is what cultivated you to who you are right now. Your parents not doing for you made you a better person. That so as Savannah said, ADHD kids lead the day with physical activities. I mean, they burn off all their energy, and when they burn off all their energy, they can sit down and you can read to them. And that engagement, when you read to them, not only are they learning, but they're being entertained at the same time. Now those are the highlights of a kid's life. To be entertained and learn at the same time, not even recognizing that they're learning because it's so fun. I was a part of programs like that. Yeah, she said, or art. Those are the things that have to happen. If y'all think that y'all can put them iPads in front of kids and they're going to turn out well-rounded, y'all sadly mistaken. Now that I'm a mother, I realized everything my parents did for us was for our good. That's right. Hindsight being 2020. She said, combine art with reading. That's what's up. That's exactly what you should do is compound those things because their minds are going everywhere. And when you put those things together, they got to form some focus. They got to put some focus together. But, you know, and that's why it's important to have those. Listen, as often as you can, y'all, these kids need to be saying the same thing that we were saying when our mothers was talking about they walked a mile to school and all that kind of stuff. Do you all hear those conversations nowadays? No. You don't hear that, even though you may have done it. I know I did. I had to. I lived too close to the school and too far to go to another one. If you're doing iPads, download Adventure Academy, ABC Mouse, Time for Learning. Yeah, those things, Savannah, but we're also trying to manage, you know, I think in those stages, the iPad is a great help. At the stage where you're leaving them alone with the iPad is when the challenges come in. That's when I think that it has to be looked at differently. I think when you're using it as an instruction manual, it's super dope. I got it set for Netflix kids only and ABC Mouse kids for learning. But even with that goes, Buds, you need to be watching what they're watching when they're watching some of those things. Not ABC Mouse kids as much, but Netflix still, you know, join in and start asking the questions, y'all. What did you think about that? You know what I'm saying? We need to dig into the minds of these kids because they're going to be the ones leading and running the future. And some of them will tell you some very profound things from what they're watching. They'll let you know how much they're understanding. And I think that knowing the height and understanding of your kid is amazing. And engage them. You're absolutely right, Jersey. Engage your kid. Means everything. It's the small things. The thing that saves me is that I let them be honest with no consequences. Yeah. I know that's tough for a lot of parents, and I commend you for that, Savannah, for being open enough to let your kids come to you and tell you, you know, what it is. But I know that even in that honesty, that with honesty, there are consequences in life with certain amount of honesty, because sometimes we do things knowingly, and we're okay with fessing up to them because we know they're not going to be any consequences. So even with that, I would monitor. That's a case by case basis for me. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what your kid knows. You know where the kid's mindset is at. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she said, I teach when they're honest. I think that's a good thing to do. I think all of us should be a teaching part. All right, Jill. Yeah, I mean, we try to cultivate those every once in a while. She said, have a good night, everyone. Great conversation. I say we try to put a couple good conversations together. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody can appreciate it because it's necessary for us to commune together. Our kids are not our friends. True story. I'll pull out a book or video in a minute. That's funny. I think that's the sentiment that everybody's kind of on too, is that our kids tend to think that, I mean, I think that yes, you should be friends with your kids, but you have to be a parent first, and they should understand that you love them as a parent and protect them as a parent. Now, on the friend side, that means that we can converse about some things, but I still have to manage you from a authoritarian position. Authoritarian, yeah. I have to manage us from a place of I globally have the last word. I like friendly guardian. I ain't mad at that. That I have that. I'll consider what you're saying, but understand that it's just that, a consideration. A lot of kids think you owe them that understanding. You owe them those things. No, I consider it. As a parent, I consider what you're saying. And if it makes logical sense, if you've been able to make this make sense, I commend you and I'll respect that. Because I think it's important for your kids to have logic. If your kids have basic logic, if they have good logic, they won't be in a position where, like the topic of this room right now, if they have great logic, there's no way a trans woman is going to tell them I'm a woman and they believe it. They're going to say, no, you're not. You want your kids to have that kind of discernment, so that you got to have that. That disciple, Terry, that disciple led him to working with Mark Cuban, BMW, working in Japan, and so many more. He's like 23, 24. That's dope. That's dope. That's super dope. The only reason why they want kids in school is for the money, not to teach. Wow. Now we're going down a whole nother road, Tuffy, because I'm a person who believes that the school system is not designed for every kid, and those kids who think outside of the box peril in that system. There's no way, and I was one of those kids. I was one of those kids who has always been like, yo, I don't think like everybody else. Why am I here? I said, I can think like them. Let me show you. I'm gonna think like them, and I'm going to outthink them. I'm gonna show you I'm smarter than them. But once I do that, what does that get me? What's in it for me once I show you that I don't think like them and I'm smarter than them? What is that gonna get me? And it doesn't get you a reward. It actually gets you reprimanded. I used to be sleeping in class because I'd be done with my work and I'd be sitting here like, what am I supposed to do now? And that part led me to being what's the kid that always gets to walk around school and do stuff during school time? Remember that each teacher would have one who was already like ahead of the class and had already known all their stuff. They was not a hall monitor. What were they called? Remember the kid that got rewarded for being smart. He was never had to sit in class. He could just, he was the one that took all the notes. He wasn't class pet. It was another name. It was another name that you got when you were the one who was already like who got it, who understood it. And those teachers that recognized that, it was teacher's helper, Letitia, but it was another word, man. I can't think of the word that it was. And every kid wanted to be one in the class. It was a teacher's helper ultimately, but it was another word for it that everybody was striving to be. And it was only awarded to those kids who were advanced. Now, I had been in advanced classes since the 7th grade. It wasn't class pet, Lola. It was another word, but that's what other kids called them, was class pet. Monitor. It had to do with monitor of some sort. It wasn't hall monitor or nothing like that, but it was something like that more than anything. But that would be my role in almost all of my classes. Like literally, I would be like, what am I supposed to do now? Because I was typing, listen, this is in high school. I was typing 90 to 100 correct words per minute. So in the typing classes, in the computer classes, anytime we had to do that stuff, I'm flying through the work. And I'd be sitting there waiting for everybody else to catch up. It didn't help that my brother that came before me, like 2 years before me, not 2 years, 2 brothers above me, he typed 126 correct words per minute. My aunt was the typing teacher. at a different school. So the typing teacher at the school that I went to knew my aunt and knew us through that system, not class valedictorian. That's different, Ghost. That's like on some graduating shit. Um, but those were those, you know what I'm saying? Like, to succeed in life, we've seen too many examples when it comes to athleticism where we train specialists. We treat our kids as you're going to be the next Michael Jordan. You're going to be the next LeBron James. You're going to be the next Kobe Bryant. You're going to be the next Venus and Serena. You're going to be the next Tiger Woods. You're going to be the next Pele. You're going to be the next. We train our kids to do those things in hopes that they will be specialists. And some of our kids absolutely have a talent for that. But when it comes to education, when it comes to creativity outside of that, we don't embrace those kids in that same way and say, hey, your talent is the key, and these other things are the byproduct of that. So if you're an artist, everything revolves around their art life. If they're a writer, then everything's revolving around their ability to write. But we don't nurture those things. Like, we don't take those kids. We don't know what's special about the kids that we're raising. And if we do, for some reason, we minimize their talent by not supporting it wholeheartedly. In other cultures, we're watching them make these kids, these little kids in all these other different ethnicities, they are becoming specialists. That's why you see these little kids that you be like, he in college and he 12 years old and in college? What? He graduating with a PhD at 14? What? Because of the way that they grew him, they found the way that he consumed and regurgitated information, then they just kept putting information in front of him. And he played with it like a Rubik's Cube. He just cycled his mind like a Rubik's Cube. That's what's up, Ghost. But Ghost, to that credit, there's a kid out there who's got that same thing at 14. There's kids out there who have all the, you know what I'm saying? It's anomalies in the system. But that's what needs to happen, is that if you raise these specialists, they become the Venus and Serenas of their trade. They become the Tiger Woods of their trade. And the black community just doesn't do that. We just go with the flow. Most parents just go with the flow. We just roll with it and hope that they have a sport talent or something like that. But there are so many things that they could be talented at and be a specialist at and earn a lifestyle. Notice I didn't say a living. They can earn a lifestyle. Don't train your kids to earn a living. Train your kids to earn a lifestyle, one that's becoming, one that offers comfort, one that offers some of the luxuries in life that helps give them comfort. Afford your kids the opportunity to have a low stress life. That's what's up. She said she already decided she is a chemist. That's dope. So all you got to do is focus on beacons and, you know, and telescopes and you know, engineering, things like that, where she can further advance that. You know what I'm saying? If you can focus kids on people who are great at those different things, that's what needs to happen. Focus these kids on their dreams and help them realize them. Listen, we're adults. Like, we did our part. So the next part now is to look back and say, listen, what can I do to help you? And this is not just for your kids. This is for the kids that are in your village. Somebody in y'all village is dope as I don't know what, and they got parents that don't know what to do with them. There'd be nothing more frustrating than a kid who has a world of talent, energy, and desire to not have an opportunity to exploit that. A lot of our children are suffering at the inequality or inability of parents to take them past the threshold that our parents knew. I can tell you, at one point I used to resent my mom, right? Because I've been really dope and talented since I was a kid. Like, I picked up the viola at 4, and I could play about 12 instruments by the time I was 12. By the time I went to the 7th grade, I was playing all the instruments at the school that my brothers and sisters played, as well as some that I was interested in. When I got to middle school, seventh grade, I sat first chair, first horn when I played baritone and trumpet. I mean, baritone and trombone. Then I was interested in the trumpet, which the brother right above me played, and I challenged in the seventh grade. I challenged all the way up to first chair, second seat. I actually was first chair, first seat against the eighth grader, but he came back and beat me, and then I practiced some more, and I ended up being first chair, first seat. Went to high school, sat first chair, second seat in the trumpet section, only to a guy who's now playing with the New York Symphony, because that was his focus. He was a specialist at trumpet, and I wasn't. I was a specialist at being versatile. And then that took me to a career in music. But if we nurture these children as children, if we nurture them up as kids, we give them a shot. I tell you, if you can get your kid interested in something by the time they are double digits or teenagers, 13, you give them a shot in way ahead of everybody else. What up, Latasha? What up, Melinda? You give those kids a benefit that they're ahead of the game. You don't want them running the race. You want them leading the race. And the only way they're going to lead the race is if you give them that head start that you can give them. Now, I know I can't, the dynamic part about our lives is they do maybe start somewhere, because we were talking about this trans women thing, and then they curve off into somewhere else. And I love where this one went, because we don't really get into a conversation about the family and the children and whatnot. And I enjoyed talking about it tonight because I think it's so important. Latasha, we skipped all over the place, and I've been on for a minute, and I'm trumpet two chair till eighth and second chair percussion till 10. This is quick. Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah. I was considered a band geek, and then in hindsight I'd be like, well, look at me now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, you got to turn your notifications on to always. You know what I'm saying? I was considered a band geek, but I embraced it even when I was in band, because I knew I was too cool to be a geek at anything. But what I would be is I never looked at being intelligent as a curse word. I embraced it. I said, yeah, I'm smart. What, you want me to be dumb? Like, if the options is smart and dumb, I'm gonna be smart and talented. Now, everything else is up to y'all. If y'all look at me as handsome, as sexy, and all those that's not up to me. So I'm not gonna fight for that. I'm just gonna be who I am. And however I'm accepted is how I'm accepted. But I hope I gave y'all something to chew on, something to think about, something for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Something that you can embrace your family with and continue to strive and succeed. I think those are some of the things that, you know what I'm saying, when we talk about the future, that has to be in the conversation, because it's a necessary evil that we got to know how to curb the enthusiasm of the negativity that tries to embrace them and cover them. So with that in mind, man, I enjoyed kicking it with y'all tonight. I had been on, I've only been on YouTube for like half an hour, but we was already on TikTok for about an hour and a half and whatnot. And then I transitioned coming from another live because they didn't like the conversation was made too much sense. Teaching them the truth, because the world, and the world is absolutely attacking the truth and inserting lies on a regular basis. Yo, that's what's up, Ghosts. Yeah, me too, Savannah. I'm glad that you made it too. Hey, I'm gonna check out though, and we'll pop in tomorrow, man. If I can get some really good sleep tonight, I'm gonna get up early enough and we get back to our regularly scheduled program. Usually I'm on at 10 o'clock in the morning, or between 8 and 10. That's why you got to turn notifications on, so I'm not bound to those times. But honestly, today I got on at like noon, then I got back on at around 4 or something, and then I just got back on again tonight. And I'm trying to give you guys multiple opportunities for us to kick it or whatnot. All right, Latasha, if you also turn them on, subscribe and turn them on YouTube, because when I go, maybe you don't get the TikTok ones, but you'll definitely get the YouTube one, because it creates a banner right across the top to let you know, like, I'm live on YouTube. So if you guys are or need a backup to your TikTok notification, YouTube is an awesome way to do it. I appreciate everybody for jumping on YouTube, man. You guys know, I know that you guys go above and beyond. Letitia, Diana, Teray, who else? Sanquilla. Yep, all joined on YouTube, man, and have soldiered it out this whole time. And a shout out to all my champions, Savannah, those same people I just named, Latasha for joining. You was late in the mug, but for joining my new buddies, Ghost Bud and Randy, Melinda, yeah, and anybody else in Jersey, of course. Let me see who else. Tuffy, Raspberry. I'm going through all the names that will participate in the conversation. Anthony, and look, everybody, Lola. Yep, all my champions. You know, y'all always come on and represent, and I want to shout y'all out and appreciate y'all for coming on and making things make sense for all those people who don't come on here regularly, so they can understand that we are a village, that we are a crew, that we are a team, and that we get down like this. So for everybody who participated tonight, man, I love y'all, appreciate y'all, and this is not goodbye, but to be continued. All right, y'all. See y'all in the morning. All right, y'all.